Okay, let's talk about something huge. It's one of the first and most critical decisions any business has to make. Where exactly do you put your pin on the map? If you get it right, you're on the fast track to success. But if you get it wrong, well, it can become your single biggest problem.
So, let me just ask you this straight up. What do you think is the #1 killer of new businesses? We hear all the usual suspects, right? A bad product, terrible marketing, maybe they just run out of cash.
Well, the answer, and this comes straight from our source material, is pretty shocking. A whopping 60% of all new businesses that fail, they all point back to one single thing.
Yep, location. It's almost unbelievable, isn't it? But the data doesn't lie. Picking the wrong spot on the map isn't just some tiny misstep in your business plan. For a lot of startups, it's literally the entire ballgame. Okay, so just how bad can it get? Let's really dig into the scale of this problem, because putting that pin in the wrong spot, man, it has a steep price tag. And look, we're not just talking about paying rent on some empty storefront. No. A bad location kicks off this massive domino effect. It messes with who you can hire, how much you have to spend on marketing, your entire supply chain, and whether customers can even get to you. We're talking about a mistake that can easily snowball into millions of dollars, sinking a business before it even learns to swim.
You'd think, with stakes this high, that this decision would be all about hard science and cold, hard facts, right? But for the longest time, the way people did it was, well, let's just say it was more like a trip to Vegas than a business strategy.
And this right here really shows the difference. The old way, it was all gut feelings. This place feels right. Or maybe just copying a competitor down the street. It was a total gamble. But the new way? It's all science. It's about using a data-driven strategy to swap out that guesswork for some serious geographic and demographic analysis.
So that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? If the old way is just rolling the dice, how do you stop gambling with your investment? How do you take luck completely off the table?
Well, the answer is in this really cool emerging field. Our source calls it the science of where.
The official term is spatial marketing. And trust me, this is way more than just looking at a fancy map. It's about really understanding how people, places, and money all interact with each other. It's about crunching layers and layers of data to make really smart, predictive calls. Let me put it this way. It's the difference between crossing your fingers and hoping customers find you and strategically planting your business right where you know they're going to be. It's the difference between guessing and knowing.
Okay, so this science sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work? What does the modern toolkit look like? Let's dive into two really powerful examples that turn all this data into actual decisions.
So, our source material points to a company that's come up with some incredible tools, and they've got some seriously cool names. We're going to check out two of them, the Golden Fingerprint and the Treasure Map. All right, first up is the Golden Fingerprint. Think of it like a deep dive forensic analysis of one single spot. It starts by examining 17 unique geodemographic criteria. Then it builds these amazing 3D models that show you exactly how people and traffic flow through that space. And what you get at the end is a super clear predictive report that basically tells you, yes, this will work, or no, stay away.
And get this, the accuracy of that prediction, a mind-blowing 92%. I mean, that just perfectly shows you what happens when you replace a gut feeling with cold, hard data.
Okay, next up we have the Treasure Map. And just like the name says, this tool zooms out. It's not just looking at one little plot of land. It scans an entire city to find the most profitable zones. And here's the best part. It finds the blind spots. These amazing areas your competitors have totally overlooked. Then it hands you 3 solid site options, and they're all backed up by someone actually going out there and checking them out in person.
But, as awesome as these tools are, the big idea here is even bigger. This isn't just about finding a spot on a map. It's about weaving this thinking into the very DNA of your business.
Right. The whole point is that location intelligence isn't a one-and-done decision. It has to be a part of everything you do. We're talking strategic planning, smarter marketing, day-to-day management, and constantly looking at the data to keep getting better.
And when you go all in with this integrated approach, what happens? The results are, well, they're huge. The data shows that businesses who do this can see their return on investment jump by up to 50%. That's a massive number.
And this quote from our source really just nails it. Success begins not with choosing a location, but with building an integrated vision. See? The location is just the first step. It's the launch pad, not the whole mission. So when we boil this all down, what's the big idea we need to walk away with? It's all about a fundamental shift in how we think. It's about seeing location for what it really is, a major strategic advantage.
Here it is, the bottom line. We have to stop thinking of our business location as just an address or a line item on a budget. When you choose it with data, when you weave it into your entire strategy, that location transforms. It becomes one of your most powerful, most dynamic, and most valuable assets, period. And so that leaves us with one last thing to think about. For your own business, or even just a place you love to go to, ask yourself this: is its location an asset, or is it an accident? Is it a strategic choice that's driving success, or just where it happened to end up? Because that answer, well, it could be the difference between thriving and